let's talk about this mess because this came out yesterday. So, Allison Holker, as you know, is getting dragged all over social media because of some of the things that she has coming out in her book, where it seemed like she's trying to tarnish the name of Twitch. Where you sit up in here talking about how you loved him and all those other stuff, and the more I hear about Allison Holker, the more I realize I don't like that bitch. I don't like that bitch. I don't see her. Shout out to Jay Caron, and that's an iconic bitch track. But anyway, get back into this to the show. Um, I don't like her. I feel like she's an opportunist. There have been many people from So You Think You Can Dance, including, my girl Comfort, came out and wrote a whole long situation dragging Allison. And I think Comfort was on the same season as Twitch, if I'm not mistaken. So with everybody dragging her, and rightfully so, because sis, you open this can of worms, you deserve to get dragged. So now her donkey of a daughter has decided to jump on the line and defend, and she out here windmilling hard for her mother. And here's the thing: I know there's some people out here that feel like, oh, she's a kid, don't go too hard on her. When I was growing up, I was always told to stay out of grown folk business. I don't know, the way this new generation, how y'all raising y'all kids, I'm not going to judge it. However, if y'all are going to put yourselves in a situation where you're going to invite the world into the group chat, prepare for people to come out here and give you a little smack on the behind in regards of things that we're going to say in regards of how you approaching things. And I feel like a 60-year-old child whose brain hasn't fully developed should not be asserting herself in the affairs of what's going on between her mother and her stepfather, because apparently I didn't know that Twitch wasn't her biological father. So he basically, I guess, when he got with Allison, she already had a kid from a previous relationship, and he took her under his wing like that was his own child. And there was another thing that I know a lot of people was mad about, particularly the Black community, how she referred to him as Steven and not, dad, or whatever the case is. I know some people feel like that's disrespectful to call your stepfather dad or whatever, but here's the thing. I don't know, I can't really speak on it because I'm not a product of divorce. My parents are still together. So I don't know what that is like, of if you become a blended family with somebody else, would you refer to that bonus dad as? I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can call one your biological father daddy and the other one papa or something. There should have been something there. But I'd be damned if I'm gonna sit there and call my stepfather by his government name. But I guess that's what white folks do. But then again, Twitch ain't white. He just married a white woman. So Allison's daughter, Wesley, went on IG Live to address the cyberbullying. She said that she and her 36-year-old mother, who has a new boyfriend, who allegedly is married still, has received. So I have that video, courtesy of the Instagram. Shout out to the Shade Room. So we're going to play with little Miss Wesley, who got herself a perm, had to say. And then we'll talk, trying to look like a poor man Zendaya. Please hold.
That I've grown up with. And to see them now act different for social media, it's like, I don't know. And I'm trying to be respectful, but I just think it's complicated because I speak to Steven's moms. Like my mom and her were speaking weekly at some point. And I don't know if it's still like that. Like me and my mom haven't talked about it. But since Steven died, I feel like I've seen his family more than when he was alive. We would only see them once or twice a year. But you guys have to understand that it's because they live in another state. And things happen. We literally live in another state, and it's not like we're neighbors. It's not like we could just see them whenever we wanted. And now, like, my mom's constantly making the effort so that the kids are a part of, or not the kids are a part of their, wait, I was about to mess up my words. So the kids are a part of their lives. And my mom's, these are all people that I've had effort. I don't make the effort, but that's just how I am. I feel disrespected by them, so I'm not going to talk to them. There are points where like the brothers would reach out to me, like my uncles and Connie, they'd be texting me, but I don't talk to them anymore. I feel completely disrespected. They've gone on social media saying that blood's thicker than whatever, and that's a direct dig at me and my mom. And if you don't see me as Steven's daughter, that's cool. That's like, take it how you want. That I know for a fact that's never how he saw it. And it's literally just hurtful. Effort. I don't make the effort, but that's just how I am. I feel disrespected by them, so I'm not going to talk to them. Like there were points where like the brothers would reach out to me, like my uncles and Connie, they'd be texting me, but y'all love to argue about the NDAs. Basically, not backstory, because like that's what the whole story is, but in one day we had an open casket like viewing for Steven. We had a funeral and then we had a wake. And my mom asked for NDAs to be signed when we were seeing Steven's body, because God forbid somebody that went to that took a photo of Steven and put it on the internet, or shared it with somebody else. That's the type of things that NDAs are for. It's not so you can never talk about Steven. You can't ever talk about, you grieving him. You can't post about it. That's not what it is. And for all the people saying it, I just feel like you're uneducated. I'm sorry, but like truly, I'm fed up because NDAs are so important. And if you guys don't agree, that's cool. I'm grateful for my mom making sure that everybody signed NDAs. Y'all love to argue about the NDA. That whole day was supposed to be beautiful, and instead it was less than that. Like we were gonna say our goodbyes, and instead people were yelling at each other and bashing my mom, and like that's a day that's taken away from her, and she can't remember it as being the day that we all wanted it to be because his family was making it otherwise. And like when I say that this day, like it's imprinted onto my brain. Like one, because I had to say goodbye to the person that I loved and valued, but then on top of that, I'm having to deal with seeing my mom go through so much. Like it's a different type of hurt, because these are people that we're supposed to love and value, and yet they're constantly doing things that make me see them as like less. Like they're the ones impacting that image, but they're also the ones taking onto social media. So I just don't get it, because
Hold on, I had to
I
pause
don't
you.
know where.
Is she done? I mean, I was gonna say, is she done? I was gonna say, is she done? But then again, are you done? Because first of all, it's like, how you gonna sit up here and say they took it to social media when they only took it to social media as a response to your mother doing an interview with People magazine, spilling Twitch's tea, spilling tea that was in his journal, his personal journal, about he was assaulted, molested as a child by a family friend. That was something that none of us knew. We didn't need to know it. Quiet as it's kept, but you putting that in as fodder for your book. Because and I'm gonna tell you this, shout out to Mims over there, Make It Make Sense, friend to the show. He has jumped in the comments every now and again on this show. But he did an exclusive interview with Twitch's best friend Manny yesterday. So if y'all get a chance, definitely watch that video. It's about an hour and a half. And he was spilling tea about Allison. He couldn't really spill a whole lot because he was one of them that had to sign the NDA. But he was pretty much saying that how is it that all of a sudden he's all kinds of drug addicts? Everybody who's been around Twitch has never said anything remotely negative about him, but here you go trying to tarnish his name, and then was alluding the fact that Allison was remotely jealous of Twitch because Twitch was the biggest star. No shade. Whenever I would watch So You Think You Could Dance, and I know a lot of people that came from that damn show, Twitch was one of my favorite people on that show. And even though he didn't even win, he was in my opinion, he was sort of like to So You Think You Could Dance what Kristen Siriano was to Project Runway, one of the biggest names that come out of that damn show and become successful. And he went on Ellen. He was successful there. He was doing so many things. He did like a bunch of damn Step Up movies, which I love the Step Up movies, regardless of how cheesy they are. I like watching dancers. I love dance choreography. I like all that stuff. So You Think You Could Dance is my favorite show on top of the Step Up movies and all that other stuff. So I like all that kind of stuff. And then so many of the alum from So You Think You Could Dance have been on that show. I don't know. I can tell you what Allison was doing, although I did hear that she did that. She did some show on VH1. Whatever, child. But to me, it just seems like she's very opportunistic. You got this little girl jumping up in here, asserting herself in something that has nothing to do with her. This is why I said, like, what is it your mother's telling you? Because I don't understand a lot of you adults who try to act like your daughters are your best friend, and then y'all assert them a whole bunch of stuff. This reminds me a lot of Teresa and her daughter Gia Judice. Whenever she would assert her in a bunch of stuff, and everybody be online, she's a child. She just started to stay in a child place. Now she's grown. So that rule doesn't apply no more. And I know in some eyes, people, because they grew up watching her on a reality show, they feel like, oh, well, yeah, she's still a child. She's not. She's in her 20s. She's in college. This is different. She's an adult now. However, this little girl here is 16. And I understand, like, we should give her the benefit of the doubt but because she's a child. But when you are a child asserting yourself in grown people's stuff, it becomes a problem. So yeah, I don't want to hear any more of what she got to say
My
because she's
mom
all over
never.
the place. It seems like she's jumping in conversations that she don't understand. So Twitch's cousin came out and said the following. She said, yeah, IDGAF about an NDA. This crazy woman made me and his actual family, including sign an NDA just to even attend the funeral. She's been trying to tarnish his legacy and refused to let the boss family see the kids because they were saying like, and that's what Manny was alluding to as well in the interview that he did. He was saying like there could have been ways that they could go over and see the kids. She was weaponizing these children against Twitch's side of the family. And then he also revealed that at the funeral, yeah, a fight almost broke out, which is what the daughter alluded to, but also was alluding to situations that, yeah, when you walked up in that funeral, you had Twitch's family on one side, and you had Allison's family on the other side. I forgot what religion he said that they practiced, if it was like Mormonism or whatever the case was, but he was just like, yeah, they was off on their side, and he was off on this side. And I seen a lot of people in the comments over there at the Shade Room, which I don't necessarily 110% agree with, but this part I do agree with. A lot of y'all had a problem with him calling him Steven, even if that's the stepfather. But a lot of people was in the comments, they were talking about black men find you a black woman, or a perfect example of a child not knowing their place. That part I agree with. But the part I don't, this whole thing about black men find you a black woman. Black women do the same damn thing. When y'all get pissed off, y'all like to weaponize and use the kids against your man and all this other stuff. So that's no different. The problem I have with interracial mixing, and I'm a product of mixed race. I have a problem. So I don't obviously have a problem with that. I have a problem that if you're going to be a white woman getting with a black man and vice versa, that you need to take the time, if you're going to get with somebody who has a difference of culture, to understand their cultural differences. When y'all sit up here and have them racial blind spots on, even though, so in a way of you like black dick, but you don't want to take the time to infiltrate yourself in the culture and understand the differences between white versus black families. If you don't want to do all of that, especially when you want to spread your legs with some black penis, that I have a problem with. So if you're going to get into a relationship where your man is a different race than you or different ethnic background, you need to take the time, and vice versa. You need to take the time to understand their culture so that way you know the do's and the don'ts. And not just sit up in here and be like, well, I didn't know he had all these issues and all this other stuff going on. I'm like, you wasn't paying attention to what your husband was doing, but meanwhile he was out here busting his ass to support you and his two biological children and the child he decided to take under his damn wing that wasn't his. So he's busting his behind doing all this other stuff. But it seemed like to me, she had already moved. I mean, she was out here doing what it was that she was doing. Because then there was another video that they were trying, I guess the media was trying to catch something else, but caught her holding hands with one of Twitch's friends. Because this is what they do out here in these streets. That's why I said there's something about her. I can't remember the other guy, the person's name, but she was holding hands with him. So you out here laying low and spreading it wide with his friends too? But she got her new man. She moved on real quick. So I was like, let me see. What's the other person's name that was up in here? Because I don't even care. Like, we're not gonna support that damn tight ass book. So yeah, she got a new man. I was trying to see what his name was. But word on the curb is he's still that the man she messing with, that's her boyfriend, that he's married. So they said a source close to the situation revealed to the dailymail.com Twitch's family is preparing to fight back against Allison after she came out with those scathing allegations about him. The family disapproves of what she said and will be speaking out about the untruths. That's why I say fuck the NDA. If she thinks she got the coins to take them all to court, she ain't got no money like that. Quiet as it's kept, like I said, Twitch was the breadwinner. We was all out here looking at Twitch. We didn't care about Allison. And then according to what the people were saying, that she literally was jealous because his career was bigger than hers, which I can believe. Because if she really thought like she was like this big star and she want to have her moment, then why is majority of your book about him? And then once you get up in there and told all of his business in this book, What part do we get to yours, where allegedly you got a booger sugar addiction to the point where, allegedly, to the point where the cartilage in your nose has been damaged? This is the tea that they were spilling about her ass on social media. So if she's going to sit up out here and spread things about people, you better tell your business too. The many men that you was laying low and spreading your legs for, and the alleged drug use that you were saying. So you want to sit up here and talk about Twitch was out here doing drugs, but you're not going to tell your tea? I ain't buying the book, so I'm going to just wait till the blogs and stuff, put it all out, and we'll give you the information. It's probably a bunch of damn nothing. I bet you her book is about as vapid and empty as that Melania Trump pamphlet that she came out with last year. This book ain't worth reading. And if anybody who was a real Twitch fan, is a Twitch fan, don't support this damn book. Let it flop. There's other ways that we can combat mental health in our community, especially with Manny, Twitch's friend, who was on the Make It Make Sense show and did the interview yesterday. He was talking about how he's going to do a podcast where it could open up a dialogue about Black men, or not just Black men, but just men in general and mental health. Because I definitely agree with him on this. I feel like there's an epidemic towards men in this country, that any little thing that we say and do, and don't get me wrong, I'm not an incel or any of those misogynistic types, but I wholeheartedly agree. I just think that the energy is being shifted in the wrong place. I do feel like there's a war on men. A lot of us can't say nothing. We can't do nothing. We say the wrong thing. Me too, hashtag, all that bullshit. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all against abuse towards women or harassment or other stuff, but any little thing that we say or do, it's like men have to walk on freaking eggshells these days. So I love the idea that there is a dialogue and a conversation being open, because I've said this many a times. There is a mental health epidemic in this country, especially with men. Men feel displaced. They don't know where they can turn with a lot of situations. Women are outpacing men in regards of like careers and all this other stuff. Men are trying to figure out where do they fit in the world these days. And when people continue to go against them and combat against them with all this stuff, that any little thing that y'all say, and it will be used against you in a court of law. It's like men, this is why they don't get with girls or whatever the case was. Not saying that they homosexuals, but I'm just saying like this is why they don't fuck with women in on a level of wanting to be in a relationship, because it's just too much BS that comes with all of that. So I'm hoping that. So I like the idea of him help coming out with a whole mental health situation and helping men like communicate, because that is a thing in the community, specifically in the Black community. I just feel like men don't really address a lot of issues that they have, or really come out and speak on some of the things that they want to speak on. So I love the fact that the family is saying they fed up with her BS and they're not going to sit back and let her just tarnish his name. And I love the fact that Twitch's mother even came out and said something, against what Allison is out here saying. So, Lil Wesley, you can't get mad that you can't poke the bear and tell the bear how angry to get. This is what I tell people all the time. You can't be out here spilling my child's tea in the form of a book, talking about you giving it to help people with mental health, and probably going to pocket a percentage of that damn money too. I don't think all the proceeds is going to mental health. And so I love the fact that Miss Connie came out and said something. That would be Twitch's mother. And all the alumni from So You Think You Could Dance came out and agreed, to what Miss Connie said, including Comfort Fidoki. Then you had Gabby Diaz, Jim Nowakowski, Dietrich, who was from I remember Dietrich when he was on the show, but he also competed with this group on America's Best Dance Crew. So I remember him from that. Then you had Lauren Gottlieb, who really went in and dragged her ass on social media. And then you had Eddie Neptune Eskridge, Blake McGrath. Oh, I remember Blake McGrath. He was like I think he was on season 2. So, and I remember he went on and was like a choreographer or something or another. So yeah, it was him. Then you had Hannah Lee Cabanilla and a bunch of others. So a lot of people are more Team Twitch than they are Team Allison. Now, it kind of makes me wonder, why is everybody anti-Allison and not Team Yo Mama, and they're more or less Team Twitch? She is a problem. Sorry. So I feel to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards to the latest, in regards to Allison Holker and her daughter asserting herself in business where she didn't mind the business that pays her? Maybe her mother did pay her to get up on there, because I'd have been mad. I'm like, no, you don't need to be up in here defending me. As a grown woman, you need to be up there defending yourself. You should not be having your 16-year-old getting on social media thinking she know every goddamn thing, acting like she your damn spokeswoman. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.